We like to call it the Supernatural Hour. And now, our hosts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Supernatural Hour. I'm Tim.
And Ravyn.
Jeff. And Chad.
And we are going to bring you another exciting episode. If I keep saying exciting, it will make it true.
It's exciting.
It's so exciting. I'm so excited.
Exciting.
Exciting.
It's so exciting.
It's going to be fun.
It's awesome.
Listen to us talk.
It's the best.
Moving on.
All right, so let's start out with business as normal. Do we have anything?
No.
Exciting.
Very exciting.
Word of the day. Every time we say exciting, we're supposed to yell like Pee Wee Herman. Ah!
This episode was brought to you by the word exciting.
Exciting!
Okay, now that everyone's turned off the podcast and no one's listening anymore. So watch for something fun. We'll do something fun and exciting.
In the meantime, go to our website, advancedparanormal.com, check out the merchandise tab, and buy stuff. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, there's some really cool stuff on there.
I tried finding more information about the grandmas. Remember we talked about the grandmas last time?
Yeah.
Did you figure anything out? I totally forgot.
I couldn't find anything. And I remember, I think it was the last time I heard about it, I found stuff on the interwebs about the grandmas. And it's, I don't know if it's an urban myth or a real thing, but I know Kenny D from Radio Ronin knows about the grandmas. So maybe we need to ask him more. But yeah, it's a real thing about like old grandmas that drive around in the middle of the night. But couldn't find anything about it on the webs.
Well, bummer. Well, we'll figure it out.
Well, if I remember, I'll shoot him a text.
Okay.
And see if he knows what you're talking about.
The grandmas.
If he knows more about the grandmas. Or if any of you listening know anything about the grandmas in Ogden, feel free to send us a message.
He'll know what the grandmas are. If you text him and say, hey, tell me more about this, the grandmas thing. He'll be like,
the ghost grandmas.
Let me sit down. Let me bend your ear. I will blow up your phone.
Sweet.
Well, that's cool. We'll have to hit him up and find out more about the grandmas. Do we have any recent investigations that we've done in the last 3 weeks?
We do, actually, and the last one we did was really, really cool. So it was, if I remember right, was it just you and me, Chad? Because I think we couldn't find anybody else kind of last-ish minute. And in this home, it was actually one of the males in the home. There's like two brothers, a sister, and grandma. And when we got there, it was grandma and sister. And grandma spoke very, very little English. I mean, she could say a few things, but mostly Spanish. And there were two spirits in her home. One was her aunt, and the other was her father, or maybe it was her grandmother and her father. But they were just kind of hanging out, trying to get their attention. Not really for any specific purpose, but just, hey, we're here, pay attention to us. And so through the dowsing rods, we let Grandma ask in Spanish, yes and no questions. The daughter kind of interpreted for her. And it's interesting because I know very little Spanish. I should know more, but I don't.
I know like burrito and taco, chimichanga, chalupa.
Yeah, growing up in Utah,
That's my joke.
The necessary ones.
The ones that get you food.
Hola, ¿cómo está? ¿Dónde es el baño? ¿Qué hora es?
Yeah, growing up
Swiper,
in Utah,
no swiping.
You figure out a few words here and there, because there's a lot of Spanish speakers in this area. But I could understand maybe one of every 30 words she said, but I didn't know what she was asking. And the dowsing rods were doing their thing, and I thought, I hope she's getting relevant answers, because I got nothing.
We should get one of those little devices. This should be one of our ghost hunting tools, because they make those things that like you can talk into it in your language and then have it translate in the person's language, and then they can talk back to you and it'll translate to you. We should get one of those for that reason. The way that would be perfect. Like if we're in Romania talking to Romanian ghosts, we can have the device not only get EVPs, but have it translate them for us.
That would be sweet.
That just makes me think of the scene in European Vacation where the French waiter's talking to him and he's like, or the English guy, the English hotel guy, He was like, "Dad, he's speaking English." Oh yeah, I knew that. Type into the translator.
Wow, that's a great movie. Yeah, but it was kind of validating in a way, though, because at one point I needed to duck into the bathroom, and so, Chad asked the
woman's daughter,
the woman's daughter, he
who's
said...
who's spoken the English weller than I do.
Oh, wow, yes. You tell this part, because I was
No,
in the
you're
bathroom. And he asked her, he says, are you getting, relevant answers? Are you getting, the answers to your questions that make sense and that you should be? And they're like, yeah, totally. And it was just kind of validating, because sometimes you ask yourself, is this really working? Is this, is it the power of my mind that's, moving these rods? Or, but yeah. So it was
Yeah, they
cool.
said there was context. The answers were being answered in the context in the way that they would kind of expect them to be answered. So it was very interested, because it was like all Spanish, and the rods moved and did things, and they didn't always answer yes, and they didn't always answer no. There were some of the wiggling ones, which means can't answer.
Who was holding the rods?
Me.
Okay, so that's actually really interesting, because if you take that aspect out where you don't know what they're saying, you can't subconsciously answer the question correctly for them.
Yeah.
Right. And that's one of the things in the back of your mind. You're like, am I doing this?
Am I reading them?
But no, I was just standing there. I was just like, yeah, I got nothing. So I mean, there was one question she asked, and if you're familiar with the dowsing rods, if they just kind of wiggle back and forth, that means maybe or I don't know. And they did that, and excuse me. And she kind of looked at me, and I said, and I could kind of feel his emotions, because I can feel emotions. And I said, he really, really wants to answer that question, but for some reason he can't. He can't give you that answer. And that was about the only input I could give. And she asked probably 100 questions, at least, maybe more.
Yeah, she asked a lot.
Do you know what that particular question was? Did she tell you?
She didn't.
No. Okay.
So, but as far as what was going on in the home, because I know listeners like to hear that, they would hear footsteps. They could see shadows.
Didn't they have her grandson was? What was happening with the grandson? He was sensitive.
I don't remember what happened to the grands. Oh no, it was the little granddaughter. There's
the little granddaughter.
There's a little girl there, probably 3 or 4 years old, and she could see it, and she kept calling it the dragon.
Yeah.
She could see a dragon. Turns out the dragon was a Native American spirit that was in the backyard. With the headdress on, and she thought it was a dragon. In the kitchen, they could hear, crinklings like people opening, packages of food. I think they said cupboards and drawers would open and shut. And so, nothing too crazy, but enough going on that they thought, we want to find out what's here. So they ended up both crossing over. So there you go. But I think the most fascinating thing about that investigation was just the fact that, the dowsing rods and with the language barrier.
So on that particular question, obviously I wasn't there. I don't know what she asked, and you don't know.
And neither
I
do
was
we.
there.
So,
I don't know what it was either.
What I'm getting is I feel like she asked something about an upcoming event, something that's going to happen in the future, and I kind of get the feeling, and I could be completely wrong on this. I honestly have no idea, but kind of the feeling I'm getting right now is that she was inquiring about a certain event, and I believe wanted to know the outcome or like how it was going to go down, and the spirit, like I get the feeling he wanted to tell her, but it's one of those where you just kind of have to wait and see type things, where it's like he could tell her, but that would change the way things are supposed to happen.
Right.
So things are just going to happen the way they're supposed to happen, and it's just one of those things where it's like he wanted to give guidance, but really couldn't at the time.
Right, that makes sense. No, when she first started asking questions, her daughter said, she's asking questions about some family thing, some other people in the family. But that was like the first 5 or 6 questions. But then she probably asked another 90 after that.
Yeah, then she really got into it, didn't she?
No, I've never seen someone ask questions so fast. just boom, 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 boom. But it was really cool.
And the dowsing rods were responding very quickly.
Mm-hmm, they were.
Do you have any weird, wild stuff for us this week?
Yes. That being said, my weird, wild stuff was the haunted voodoo doll, and I gave it as part of our story. So.
Okay, I guess we'll jump into the stone of the week. I do not know if I've already talked about this. I didn't see it on my list, so I don't think I have. This week, I will be talking about Adventurine.
That sounds like a fun stone.
It could
you
be.
want to go on an adventure with it, with your Adventurine.
Maybe.
Adventure.
It's an adventure.
Sponsored by Adventurine.
It comes in a couple different colors. It could be green, blue, red, brown, or peach. It's readily available. You can find this everywhere.
That was more than a couple.
Yes. It can be found in 5 colors. A few colors. Basically, any crystal shop in your area or online, you can find Adventurine. It's all over the place. The color I see the most, though, is green and blue. I haven't really seen the other 3 colors.
I think I have one of those, actually.
So we'll just jump right into it. Adventurine is a very positive stone of prosperity. It has a strong connection to the Devic Kingdom and is used to grid gardens or houses against geopathic stress. Wearing Adventurine absorbs electromagnetic smog and protects against environmental pollution. Taped to a cell phone, it acts as a protection against its emissions. This crystal diffuses negative situations and turns them around. Now, psychologically, Adventurine reinforces leadership qualities and decisiveness. It promotes compassion and empathy and encourages perseverance. It takes you back into the past to find sources of dis-ease. This stone relieves stammers and severe neurosis, bringing understanding of what lies beneath the conditions. Adventurine stabilizes one's state of mind, stimulates perception, and enhances creativity. It sees alternatives and possibilities, especially those presented by other people. This stone brings together the intellectual and emotional bodies. Adventurine calms anger and irritation. It stimulates emotional recovery and enables living with one's own heart. Physically, Adventurine promotes a feeling of well-being. It regulates growth from birth to 7 years, balances male-female energy, and encourages regeneration of the heart. Spiritually, Adventurine protects the heart chakra, guarding against psychic vampirism of heart energy. Now, as healing, Adventurine benefits the thymus gland, connective tissue, and nervous system. It balances blood pressure and stimulates the metabolism, lowering cholesterol and preventing heart attacks. It has an anti-inflammatory effect and helps ease skin eruptions and allergies, relieves migraine headaches, and soothes the eyes. Adventurine heals the adrenals, lungs, sinuses, heart, and muscular and urogenital systems. As an elixir, it relieves skin problems. When you use this, you want to place or hold on the appropriate point on your body. Now, some of the specific colors that have a little bit different properties. Blue is a very powerful mental healer, and green is a comforter and heart healer, and general harmonizer, protecting the heart. It brings things back into control and is useful in the malignant conditions. It settles nausea and dissolves negative emotions and thoughts. It's an all-around healer, bringing in well-being and emotional calm. And again, that stone this week is Adventurine.
So I'm just envisioning being able to tell who listens to the podcast, because at our next public investigation, we're going to have all these people with rocks taped to their phone.
That would be cool. People showing up. I got this case and I put Adventurine on it. There's other, if you're worried about electromagnetic smog, another stone, I actually have this sitting on my computer desk at home, is a black crystal, and its name is escaping me right now. Holy cow.
Onyx?
No.
Jet?
What's the other one that I can know? Obsidian?
Nope. It's starts with an S, actually.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah, so I don't know what that stone's called, but I have it.
email Tim later. He'll tell you what it is.
I'll mention it
'Cause
at some point in
he'll-
time. When I remember it is, I'll probably remember it on the way home and be like, oh, it was this.
As soon as we stop recording, you'll remember.
But there's other stones for electromagnetic electromagnetic smog. Adventurine's one of those. So yes, it's a stone. I don't know if I actually have any of that, but sounding or reading on what it does, it sounds like something I probably should have.
Yeah, I think that sounded like it was pretty cool.
All right, I guess that will do it for this episode. We will see you on the next one.
We'll be back.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Supernatural Hour at AdvancedParanormal.com. The Supernatural Hour is part of the Radio Ronin network found at RadioRonin.com. Copyright 2021 by Advanced Paranormal Services.